What up, everybody? It's Hoppy. What up, B-Rob? What up, Naked Porch? What up, Jody B? What up, Foxy? What up, Bro Ron? What up, all you motherfuckers out there? I ain't got time to do 3 minutes of shout-outs, but if y'all wasn't paying attention yesterday, kind of got a little battle going between Michael Bisping and me, and that's your current middleweight champion in the UFC. Coming up, putting his title on the line, going to fight Georgia St. Paul here before too long, UFC 217. But this man GSP, he ain't even fought in 4 years, and I hope to God he comes out the closet and just fucking mollywops Bisping, dog. Just mollywops him and takes that title, because this is a bitch motherfucker. He's on Twitter, running it all day yesterday, talking about how we gotta ban guns in America, get rid of the Second Amendment, all this shit. Let me remind y'all before I even get started, this bitch is English. He ain't even from here. He can't vote here. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, you have no opinion, because you're making millions of dollars over here in America, a country that succeeded from the bitch-ass queen where you come from, and you over here making all this motherfucking money off of us, and all you want to do is run your fucking dick sucker about our laws. Shut the fuck up. If you don't like them, take your ass back over to England and fight some fucking people over there. So anywho, I calmly said, responded, was like, I don't know who you are, or none of that. I didn't until yesterday. And but Chicago is our example. If you want to see what happens when you make guns illegal, just go to Chicago, murder capital of our country. Criminals do not buy guns at the gun store. But I'm not getting into that debate right here. What I got to say is, we was going back and forth, cussing each other out. I challenged this motherfucker to a fight. Come your ass to Kentucky. He shut the fuck up. Now, maybe he just didn't want to get into it on Twitter, whatever. But still, I challenged the UFC champion to a fight, and he shut the fuck up. So that means something. So anywho, I ain't playing. I ain't no fucking keyboard warrior. Bring your ass out here, motherfucker. He's all happy today that Conor McGregor picked him to win the fight. Well, both of them got something in common. They got huge, overinflated egos and talk a whole bunch of goddamn shit. And look what happened to Conor. I picked Mayweather. Go back and read my motherfucking Twitter. I can't stand that motherfucker either. I ain't got no beef with him. I just don't like his style. But this motherfucker Bisping, fuck you. I hope you run your fucking mouth all the way up to the day of the fight and get whooped. And then you can come out here to get tucked and get whooped again. I don't give a fuck. You hit like a bitch, brother, especially for MMA. So let me tell you, you want to come to Kentucky? Get the fight on TV. Have a neutral ref. We go at it. Don't be a bitch, bro. Hoppy out.
You are now listening to Random Ramblings with Rob. Yay! Yeah! Yeah!
B to the R, O to the B, coming at you with the funny random rambling, talking about all the things that'll make that rain day sunny. Yeah, it's hot and popping, fireball dropping, come get your laugh on. Yeah, that's the concept. You know he was rocking, robbing the facts and all of the gossip. It don't matter where you are or who you with. You got it too right in. Bring your girl into your girl to bring your friends. Be Robbie led. Tune in your crib, in your whip, at your job. He got new shows every Sunday.
Here we go.
What up, everybody? This is your boy B-Rob, and I am back with another edition of the Random Ramblings with Rob podcast. If you're a first-time listener, I thank you for tuning in and listening to this random show. And if you're an old existing listener, I don't mean to call you old in the sense of your age. I mean, like, you've listened to this before multiple times. Welcome back. And forgot a guest this week. We talk a little bit of subject matter that hits a little near and dear to me. My guest this week is a fellow Marine, and I used to say former Marine because usually when you get out, retire, or whatever, I mean, you say ex-Marine or whatever, but we were taught that you're never not a Marine, I guess, unless you do something heinous or despicable, then you can get the fuck on with that shit. But I mean, if you separate medically, you retire out, you just decided you had enough of the active duty side or even the reservist side, I mean, you part ways. I mean, you don't stop being a Marine. You're a Marine 24/7. So I'm gonna say fellow Marine, because that's what he is. My guest is Turk the Marine Guy. And it's funny that he gets that name because, you know, he's a guy. He was in the Marine Corps, active, well, not active duty, he was a reservist. But I come to know this guy because of RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk. And he called in a couple times. He's a fan of the show, as am I. And when they brought up the fact that he was a Marine, at the time I was still on active duty, and I was like, oh shit, it's another Marine. I need to seek this person out and talk to him. And we became friends on Facebook. I mean, we didn't have like deep dialogue and nothing like that. You know, he'd shoot me some funny videos, and I would in turn do the same thing, you know, comment on posts and stuff like that. But we never held down a full length conversation until, I would say, today, but we didn't actually have this conversation today. We had it a couple weeks ago, but you get the point. I got him on the podcast on the strength of, you know, we're both fans of the podcast RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk, and that we shared a similar bond, not by blood, but tradition and camaraderie and love for this wonderful country that seems to be in turmoil and going through some shit right now. But I'm rambling. That's what I do. It gets a little touchy, you know, going through this podcast, because a lot of stuff that he was talking about hits home. You know, we spoke about PTSD. Well, he did a lot of the speaking, and me as a podcaster, I can only speak for myself. I really enjoy it when I don't have to say shit. You know, I mean, I just kind of rein in the guests, and you know, if they run out of things to talk about, I just throw some random questions out there and try to keep the thing moving. But whenever I have a guest on and they just kind of take helm of the ship and everything, I rather enjoy that, because I mean, I'm getting to know this person. I don't usually, some of the times when I have guests on, I don't know them from anybody, you know, Adam or Eve or whatever the fuck. I don't know these people, but hence the reason they're on the show, because I have a genuine curiosity, or we share common interests. So he just ran with the ball, man. As soon as I told him we was on, he was damn just going. So I really appreciate stuff like that. Anyway, what I was saying, it was near and dear to me because there was talk about PTSD, you know, just general problems, you know, certain, I mean, I think all of us kind of deal with it in a way, you know, as far as service members go. And he just tells his story as far as that, and you know, suicide, which is really big in the military. And it's not even, you know, in, you know, combat zones and everything like that. Is like after, you know, after the deployment and everything. And you know, I never thought about committing suicide, but there was many times, and you know, I talked to my wife about it, to where I felt like I would be better off on a deployment or just somewhere, you know, away from everybody. You know, I didn't want to be bothered. I mean, there was times to where I would get real irritable, which is not really in my character. You know, I would zone out and not even want to be, you know, bothered by anybody. You know, I just wanted to sit in the room and play games or just lay around, and you know, that was just kind of what it was, you know, when I got really down. And then even, you know, separating within this past year, it hit me kind of hard the first couple of weeks, you know, because a lot was going on. Our future wasn't certain. You know, all I knew is, you know, this thing that I did for 16 years and 2 months, I'm not doing it anymore. And that doesn't even have to be necessarily military related. I mean, it could be anything. You do something for extended amount of time, you know, and then all of a sudden you're not doing it anymore. I mean, that's going to take a toll on you mentally somehow, you know. And PTSD isn't just limited to, you know, military stuff. I mean, it could be anything: car accidents, sexual assaults, you know, anything traumatic can trigger PTSD. And, you know, you wind up waking up in the middle of life, reliving those memories, and it's just, it sucks. And, usually the result of, some people not being able to handle that is they turn to suicide, which sucks. I can't say it sucks enough, because it really does. Because I mean, you are taking yourself out of the equation, and it doesn't just, it affects everyone around you, you know. And, you know, this is not like my show, man. We don't get on any somber stuff like that. We try to keep it upbeat and up tempo. But I mean, this is important shit to hear, man, because, truth be told, I thought this whole conversation between me and Turk was going to go a whole different way. I was going to bring up the fact that I found out about him, and he was a Marine through RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk, like I said before. And we were just going to talk about all kinds of wrestling, how did he find out about the podcast, and, you know, how did he become a wrestling fan? And then it just went a whole different way. And, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad we had to talk. And I hope his words that he says and uses during this podcast, you know, help someone else out. As that was his intention. That was his purpose on being on the podcast, to tell his story. And I know once upon a time, you know, I asked way back if you wanted to be on the podcast, and, you know, he kind of turned me down without saying no. He was just like, I don't think I'll be any good at it, and you know, yada yada yada. He fed me some bull, but he came around, and you know, I'm glad he did. But without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this edition of the Random Rounds with Rob podcast, featuring Turk the Marine Guy. In my estimation, this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Because, I found out about you through RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk.
Yes.
Do you even still listen to that?
I do, actually. It's still a little guilty pleasure of mine listening to those guys. And especially now that I know that me and Will actually went to school together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
I mean, like, what, it was like middle school or something? I forgot how it went, because I think y'all brought it up on the show, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to middle school together, and then 1 year of high school before I got put into foster care. So it was in Aurora, Colorado.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Foster care?
Well, just things happened with my dad, and so I was just in a group home until it was time to emancipate, pretty much.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then from there, emancipated, worked a little bit, and then I worked at Del Taco, and I became a manager. And during one of the night shifts, a recruiter came through the drive-thru, and I saw him, and I was like, well, I used to want to be a Marine when I was younger. I was like, fuck it. And, you know, I asked him where I could find him, and he was all happy as shit.
There you go. I mean, shit, if I was him, I would have been happy too. It's like, probably at the end of the day, goddamn, I'm fucking tired.
I was 6 a.m.
Oh, well, fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sleepy because I'm tired from the night before.
Oh, yeah.
And damn, I go to daggone get my breakfast for my so I can go hit these streets and get on the recruiting grind, and bam, they just jumping out the drive-through window on me.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. And I went in right after I got a shift, and drove down there and was talking with them, and and then signed paperwork. Originally was supposed to go active duty, and then just, it was a weird thing, man. I was supposed to go active duty. I was supposed to be a armorer, an armory tech guy.
Yeah.
It was 2111 was my original MOS, and started to go through boot camp. Halfway through, my recruiter shows up at boot camp because he's leaving the recruiting, and then he's going back to his regular unit, and he was like, hey, just want to let you know you're not going active duty, you're going to be a reservist. And I was like, what the hell? I signed a contract for active duty. I've been, doing all this. I was like, am I even getting the MOS? He's like, oh yeah, you're still going to get the MOS. He's like, but you're going to be a reservist. I was like, how's that possible? Like, I was like, I read everything that, you put in front of me. He's like, well, one day you didn't.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
He was like, yeah. He was like, second to the last day before I sent you off the maps, he was like, when we were having lunch, I was like, son of a bitch. And that motherfucker was there in his fucking blues and everything. So I got smoked like 5 seconds afterwards.
Oh, man. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the terminology, smoked is when your drill instructor takes you out into the pit or wherever he designates to physically
or wherever
kill
the fuck
you.
He's standing.
Yeah. Physically kill you. And I ain't talking about like murder with knives and guns. I was talking about like PT is a physical training, jumping jacks, up and downs, all that shit.
Yeah, sit down on the ground. Now stand up. Sit down again. Do push-ups on your face, on your back. Stupid shit like that.
Now on that same topic, man. What is all right, looking back on it now, what do you think is like the most simplest, most painful thing somebody ever had you do?
Oh, that easy. For 2 hours straight, I had to do like a diamond push-up.
Oh no.
With a ruler on my wrists. And then a ruler in between, on like bouncing on that ruler, touching my nose.
What?
Yeah. So you get the diamond position. You go halfway down. He put a ruler on my wrist, and then he put a ruler in between my nose and that ruler, and I had to balance both of them.
Fuck your couch.
Yeah. I fell plenty of times. That's why it lasted 2 hours, because that shit sucked. That was the worst. I've never sweat so much by doing so little, kind of thing. It sucked so bad.
Well, I mean, I think what somebody had me do, my drill instructor brought me in the DI hut because now I broke the golden rule. Whenever you walk past the DI hut, you're supposed to turn your head away. You're never supposed to look in there. And
never. Don't look into hell.
Yeah. So Recruit Robinson turned his head and having to catch eyes with the drill instructor, and he's like, "Come here, Robinson. Let me talk to you real quick." And he made me sit with my back against the wall, in a electric chair position.
Oh, fuck that.
And he gave me 2 Q-tips. Made me hold them between my thumb and my pointer finger. And just do little circles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, or even worse, those little hand towels. Did you ever have to just stand there, hold a hand towel up top? Fuck.
Oh man.
So you're a little bit older.
Yeah.
When you went in, was your last name forever bitch? Like, because at least when I went through, everyone was bitch. You were called bitch. That was your name. You better answer to it.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think that came after. That was like another generation of Marines that was going through. Because like when I went through, it was always recruit and dumbass and basic shit. Now, you never been called a bitch. But when I went back to the depot, I wasn't a drill instructor, and I just went back as a black shirt. I was out there on Page Field in the rappel tower and the gas chamber and all that other stuff.
Oh, so you were one of the nice guys.
Nice-ish, yeah. So I was out there, and I work hand in hand with the drill instructor, so I got to peek behind the curtain to see how all that shit go down. But when I was there on Paris Island for like about
fuck that place.
Yeah, I was there for about like 2 years, and I think it was just that generation of Marine that was coming through there that all the drill instructors called them all bitches.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a point where if they said bitch, 3 guys started running because, if you don't,
somebody,
or even if they call you by the wrong last name, you better understand that they're talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was called Escalada, I think, once when I graduated.
Yeah, that's usually how
I was
it works.
Enchilada, Espinoza, Esparza, Escalade. Let's see. Esky. Got from one of them for some odd reason. I have no clue why or what the fuck that even meant.
I don't know, Eskimo.
From California. We were in San Diego.
Hey man, you know how nicknames work in the Marine Corps. It's always some
always something stupid.
Something stupid. It's always the polar opposite of whatever it is, or it was just something redundant.
Definitely, man.
Like, all right, B-Rob, me, Black Rob. That's why, because they had two Robinsons in my unit. One was white, one was black. So by default, I was Black Rob.
And see, and it wasn't even like a racist thing though, right? It was always just like, well, you're
black.
Black.
Because that's how
you're darker than this other Robertson.
Yeah, because that's just how it's just how you were saying a little while ago. If there's two Robinsons. So they would call us over to PA, and we both show up. He's like, "Not you, the black one."
Man, I do have to say I was lucky that my last name is very distinctive. So
yeah,
once I got to the fleet, quote unquote, well, I was a reservist, so that was fun.
Ish.
But it was a different experience than what I was expecting. And definitely a different experience from what I've heard from other buddies that did go active or that was active, during the time that I went, kind of thing. Yeah. And it's a different pace, but we all get deployed,
Yeah.
And whether we're ready or not, you get deployed.
Yeah, that's
kind of thing.
Yeah, fuck your couch.
You're guaranteed. Once every 3 years, a unit is guaranteed to deploy, whether it's to an actual combat zone like Afghanistan, or if it's to a place like the unit went to Djibouti, Africa, right after.
You was all up
right
in Djibouti,
after I joined them. Oh no! They had just gotten back when I joined, kind of thing.
Okay.
When I joined the unit finally, and so everyone fucking, if you didn't go to Djibouti, you're a boot. Or, let's see here. Oh, they loved all non-Djibouti Lance Corporals or below for, what was that? Field day? Not field day, a working party.
Yeah.
Fuck, I hated it. Because it was PFC, whatever, but automatically. Didn't matter. And then once I became a Lance Corporal, still, again, if you go to Djibouti, you're a boot.
That's
like, really? You went to Africa. You went to Africa and you're calling me a boot? Come on, man.
Yeah, that's something a boot would say.
But yeah, and then but that went away after a while because, after about a year and a half, everyone's like, okay, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. You went to Africa and you sat on a base all day. Shut up.
See, I think that aspect of being reservist would have been pretty cool because, I was active duty for like 16 years. So, I've been on deployments, but it was only to Iraq and Afghanistan. I never had the opportunity. Well, I had the opportunity to go to, Japan and everything. But at the time, I was a single parent with my older two kids, and I didn't want to, do the hustle.
Well, yeah, you had,
trying to
exactly. You had other priorities, and it's hard sometimes to, especially as a single parent, to deploy or to go off to other duty stations or like B billets, things like that. It's tough. I would have no idea how I would have done it if I was a single parent, because I'm not a parent and I couldn't even imagine doing that now.
Yeah.
And all the different stuff because in active duty, you're gone in a 4 years presence. How many times do you deploy?
Shit.
At least once, right? Or twice?
Yeah, maybe.
Depending on the unit?
Yeah, depending on the unit, yeah.
a year, you know, and that's a deployment's anywhere between 9 months and almost a year and a half for some units.
Yeah.
I've heard. That's insane.
In the membrane.
That is. I was single for most of my Marine Corps career, so I, you know, fuck it. If we deployed, sweet, that's just more money for me.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's more time I don't have to work at Del Taco. You know, because
like with the reserve size and everything, I mean, I know you still get to work and everything, but if you have to go, I mean, you work, depending on where you are, I guess they'd be like, all right, we'll hold this spot for you till you come back after a certain amount of time or some shit, right? So was that the situation with Del Taco?
Yeah, there were a lot of, actually, I got fired one time when I did my annual training. So you go at least 1 week in a month, every month, except for the summertime. The summertime, you go for 2 full weeks. You get a nice little check depending on your, you know, rank. You know, I was a Lance Corporal, so I got $1,000, which was awesome just to have. But Del Taco didn't read, I guess, because you get a little pamphlet every single month of, hey, next month, this is the drill date. Not going to be able to work these days.
Yeah.
When AT comes, they give you the same thing, but hey, during, you know, these 2 weeks, I'm going to be gone. You know, and it's against the law to fire me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the manager didn't read it correctly or forgot and fired me.
Yeah. Kind of like how you did with your recruiter, you know? You just didn't read it that time.
Yeah, kind of thing. But yeah, no, and then when I came back, I was like, look, I gave you the paper, and I even showed him and everything, because I had him sign every single one of them. So I was like, fuck that. I'm never going to get fired, you know, for doing something, you know, for the country and everything like that. So I always had him sign. So I got my job back. And then when it came to deploying, it got to a point where I was like, well, I don't want to work fast food anymore. You know, like I'm about to, you know, go to Afghanistan and be in a part of Afghanistan that no unit has gone before. And I know that sounds like, you know, Star Wars or Star Trek, but our unit was the farthest south any Marine Corps unit has gone in Afghanistan at that time. And so in my mind, I was like, well, shit. You know, we have these big ass vehicles, and when you have big ass vehicles, what do they like to do? Just IED city all over the place, you know? And so I was like, fuck that. I'm not gonna go over there, come home with $30,000, you know, and still work at Del Taco. So I quit before, went on deployment. Had some crazy shit happen with our CO there. It was, so we got to Afghanistan and we were on Camp Leatherneck.
Hey, I've been there.
Yeah. And while we were there,
matter of fact, that was my last deployment in the Marine Corps.
Nice. Wow. I was there 2009 to 2010.
Okay.
And it was still, it's probably gotten bigger if your last deployment was any sooner than that. It's probably gotten bigger since then, but it was huge when I was there.
Well, the last time I was there was my last deployment was 2012, 2013. So it was huge.
Oh, so they had the Wi-Fi and everything, because they were just getting Wi-Fi.
Yes.
When we got there, we were like, "What the fuck is? You got Wi-Fi?"
I know. That's how I caught up on. That's how I got hooked on Game of Thrones. I was able to watch all the current seasons there.
Well, so we're waiting at Camp Leatherneck to get all our vehicles, you know, ready and set to, you know, set up a COP out in Tagaz. That was going to be the city. It's the first city in between the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan. And so we were we were there to teach the Afghani Border Patrol, which that's being nice calling it that, how to patrol their borders and kind of thing. Yeah. And so we were waiting to go out, and our CO, instead of waiting for the actual orders to finally go out, one day gets tired of all the Facebook, I guess, and just says, "We're moving out in 2 days." And we all went, "Fuck yes, finally." And we did. And we took 4 vehicles for each platoon. We had headquarters, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then we had mortars. So we had, about 20, 25-ish vehicles that we stole. That we stole and booked and just went, fuck it, we're going down. The cop wasn't ready. The place that we were supposed to be living in wasn't, all the HESCO barriers weren't filled in yet.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, because that made us feel good. Yeah, he got posted. 2 days it took, because we got there and all of a sudden everyone was like, what the fuck, like, nothing's set up, nothing's ready, nothing's that you've been telling us it's been. And one day we see an Osprey come in. We see some very shiny, collars. Yeah. And we saw him just walk away. And then randomly we have a new CO who was our XO from Tanks. And he gathered us all together and was like, I'm your new CO. That's it.
Ain't that like on some mob shit though, man? Because like I've seen that happen before too. It's just like a motherfucker will be there, then all of a sudden he just gone, and a new dude is there in his place, just
done. No conversation, no talking, no nothing, just gone. Don't even ask about it.
Yeah, no farewells or nothing, and they just clicking like nothing never happened.
Yep. When you get posted, you are fucked. It is done. You fucked up royally. I think he lost rank.
Oh, I believe he did.
Because they send his ass home. Oh, also, we had the battalion first sergeant who fucked up too. Before we left, you know how you do billeting and all that stuff, and depending on where you live, you get a bigger check and a different check for, where you live, right?
Yeah.
Well, he put San Francisco, because in California, that's the most expensive place to live.
Yeah.
He didn't live in San Francisco.
No.
He lived in like Escondido. Okay, which is like north of San Diego. It's near Camp Pendleton. So he got posted from his spot the day before we left. For the day before we got on the buses and left the States. Just randomly. All right, gents, I gotta go. Bye. Not going on deployment with you. And we're like, what the fuck? And this motherfucker looked like Jim Carrey. Okay, he had the jaw. And he would give these long ass speeches. And he would talk about, I got my car. If you want it, I'll give it to you. It doesn't matter. And he had this big ass jaw. And my buddy would call him, I'm the jaw and this is the law. Because that's how, talk like that. His dumb ass got posted. It was crazy, man. Shenanigans afoot all throughout the deployment. Because we had our unit, and then we had a unit, like I said, of these Afghani patrol people who never had any military experience.
Exactly.
Never had any job experience outside of working on a farm. Didn't have any kind of knowledge of a weapon. We had one dude who shot himself in the thigh.
Cheddar Bob.
He was on post because we're trying to teach him how to be on post and all that shit. And he's fucking around. He shot himself right in the thigh. Had to shove my thumb in the hole because he kept ripping out the skivvy shirt that I was trying to plug it with.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Yeah, because for the next 3 weeks I was like, wait, do I got AIDS? Because this motherfucker was dirty. Yeah. What else?
You better than me. I probably would have stuck a stick in there and broke it off. I ain't sticking that thing in there.
Well, it was, because it was loud. Our maintenance bay was right next to post 2, which is the post that he was on. And we heard it and we were like, oh my God, what the fuck? Because it was random. Nothing had been going on. It was 2 weeks away from, or 2 weeks before. 2 weeks before we had rockets, RPGs pretty much, they had 3 of them. They shot towards our base, but they were completely off, so they just flew over us. It was actually pretty funny. Yeah. because you look up because, you know, you hear the whistle and, you know, all throughout training, all you've been told is, you know, when the rocket goes off or when an RPG goes off, at least it makes a whistle sound and you better fucking look and hide somewhere.
Yeah.
And so when we hear the whistle, but then we kind of look up and it looks like the, what are those Air Force fighter, the Blue Jets or some shit like that?
The Blue Angels.
The Blue Angels looked like 3 Blue Angels were just flying in the sky because it was just a trail of smoke. And we looked up and you could just see it and we're like, oh, that's way above us. It was a mile out when it finally landed.
Man, and let's just think about that too. I mean, we go through all this training, you know, duck and cover, you know, vehicle rollover training and all this stuff, house clearing and all that stuff. Like just for you, like the RPG stuff and the mortars and all that shit. I think it's just crazy that we go through all that training and, you know, it kind of teaches you how to be scared or not scared, just to be alert. But after a while, you go through that shit so much, it's just like, here, incoming, boom, something hitting you, just like, huh, they're shooting mortars again.
Yeah, you do kind of get dull to it, especially if a lot of small stuff happens. Like Alpha Company, which was the company I was with, we were lucky. We sustained no casualties. Yeah. Okay. H&S had 6 guys. The battalion sergeant major died. He was a captain in the LAPD, SWAT, everything like that. Him and his driver got taken out. Charlie Company got hit so many times that they were almost combat ineffective. For the listeners who don't know what that means, combat ineffective means you've either sustained too many losses that you are not, you're not effective to be in a combat zone. Mm-hmm. They got hit by IEDs 3 days in a row in the same area, and they, I guess, just weren't paying enough attention, or they weren't doing their 360 checks the way that they're supposed to, and just boom, boom, boom. Every time they tried to move the vehicle, they hit another one, and it was 3 days a row where they lost, I think it was like 20 guys. And that really fucked with me. It fucked with a lot of us, actually, because it was just one of those things of we hadn't encountered IEDs yet where we were at. Yeah. You know, we encountered them blowing up a bridge in the town because they were pissed off that the Americans were here, kind of thing, and that the townspeople were cordial to us, you know. So they blew the bridge that we used to fucking walk over there. We rebuilt it. We had the rockets. We had a firefight one night. It was in the middle of the fucking night. But we think it was because we had an outpost. Okay, so there was this Tagaz was the town, and there's a mountain that had an old castle, and it is run down. You couldn't even tell there was a castle there, but we had a little outpost because that was the highest vantage point that you could just look down onto the city. So we had, I think, 5 guys up there, and one night.
Whoa! You had 5 guys? Sorry. How did it get that out there? Was it tasty?
No. But we had 5 guys at that outpost, and the Afghan Border Patrol did a night patrol of the town just to, you know, because shit happens at night because it's dark, you can't see. So the best time that people are going to do IEDs or shenanigans or shit like that is at nighttime. They're walking around. One of the guys up on the outpost sees them walking around, calls it in, like, hey, I got activity. Well, the other guy on, the radio was like, oh, I have no clue about it. If they got weapons, take them out. So they started shooting. And then the guys on the ground start shooting at them, and you know, all this ensues. No one gets hurt, no one gets hit. Okay, but because Afghani Border Patrol shot against United States forces, and they exchanged fire, the guys on the hill all earned a car, which is a combat action ribbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. But if I'm going to tell any stories from my deployment, the biggest one is my story, I guess. I was on post one night, and if you're on post, usually when you get off in the morning, you're on what's known as QRF, or the Quick Reaction Force. And pretty much for the next 8 hours after you get off post, if anything happens, you're the first 4 or whoever dudes to go check whatever out, kind of thing. Because everyone else is doing different things, different platoons are already either outside of the wire doing their own little, thing. So, headquarters platoon takes care of the base. We get a call that there is a big ass truck, like one of those trucks that you would, people, they drive with like onions and stuff, on the freeway, like a big ass truck. And there's 8 dudes, and they're parked on the road that we use, our main road, and they're just chilling there. So we have to go out, but we have to teach the Afghan Border Patrol. So this is the best opportunity to show them how to deal with this kind of situation.
Oh, no.
So we took the Afghan Border Patrol, and we had to, instead of taking the road, we cut through the river. We had this tiny little river, waist high, I would say, at the deepest point. And we get through that. These motherfuckers took their boots off, took their pants off.
What?
Their trousers and shit. Yeah, these motherfuckers took their shit off so they could stay dry. And then after we got out of the water, they're putting their shit back on. And we're just like, what the motherfucker? Like, bitch, get the fuck over here. The fuck are you doing?
There go that
Why'd
bitch
you take
again.
your why the fuck did you take your shit off? Do you not know what we're about to go fucking do? And
so whenever you said bitch, did like 30 Marines just jump out of trees and everything? Was like, hell, you call me?
Right? Fucking recruits started calling me. No. So we, they get all up there, and we start walking towards it, and we see the vehicle, and then we see a second vehicle. And we're like, okay, great. Now we got, 2 people in line, so there's definitely something going on this road. Across the way, about 200 feet to the left, still on the same road, but on the other side of the road, there's this Afghani gardener, old-ass dude. He looked like 183. He was, he had no muscle at all. It was just bone. He was black, but he was like, it was weird. It was like a dark skeleton. Okay. I'm a lance corporal. I have a sergeant with me. I have a corporal with me, and another lance corporal, but he's over dealing with the people on the truck. So guess who has to go grab the gardener, who might be next to an IED? The lance corporal.
Of course.
So I kind of do this weird, like, walk around thing where I kind of just walk to the side, just in case if people are watching, or if this dude has a trigger on him or anything, just in case, So I take this kind of wide, walk around and all throughout all these bushes. And if you've ever been to Afghanistan, this shit's a shithole. There's trash everywhere. There's trash from U.S. forces and stuff like that, who either throw it in the trash and the wind blows up, and even though we burn trash and shit, yeah, you shit in a bag and then you burn that some bitch.
Or you throw it at people like I did.
Did you have piss tubes?
No.
Oh, piss tubes are the best. These are just PVC. I'm getting off topic, but so. There's trash everywhere. I remember walking around a big bush, and I was looking down a little bit, but keeping my eye on the guy, and I see a jerry can. And a jerry can is a 5-gallon plastic can that can hold up to 5 gallons of gas. And so I was like, oh, fuck it, whatever. That's trash. I was like, but I want to remember this just in case, there's, we got one more jerry can now, for the vehicle, because I was in the recovery vehicle. I start walking towards the gardener, and he's not at all paying attention to us at all. I'm yelling at him. I'm fucking Wadalega and all this stupid shit and you know, fucking Dari, Adam, tell him to stand up, come here, all that stuff. Not listening. I throw a rock at him, and I felt bad, but it got his attention. He looked up. And I, told him to come here. He starts walking towards me, tell him to, lift up his dress, show me that he doesn't fucking, have any bombs on him and shit. Mm-hmm. And told him to start walking in front of me. So I had him walk in front of me, and I like pointed to my eyes, and I pointed to the ground where there was my footsteps. And I just kind of did this thing of like, follow my footsteps, because I don't know what the fuck's out here.
Yeah.
We're following, we go back around that bush, but this time I'm coming from a different angle. I see orange cord. Before you deploy, they put you through different training scenarios, different classes, and in one of the classes they tell you, if you see orange, if you see red, if you see yellow, those are detonation cords, hot wires, shit like that. Shit's about to go boom. So I stop. This dumb motherfucker keeps walking because I told him, and so he followed my footsteps. I'm still standing there. I'm looking down at it. Now, instead of just one jerry can, I see 3.
Oh, shit.
And they're all connected. And so I yell out to the sergeant, and I say, Godzilla. That was our
code.
That was our that was our code. Was Godzilla. And you had to say it in a goofy Asian voice just because Sergeant liked it that way. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm standing on it." So he grabs everyone and they all go into this little safe bubble around me. And he's like screaming instructions at me. "Don't move! Grab a chem light out of all this shit. Grab a chem light out of your bag. Mark the area. Try to, walk out of your own steps." All this shit. I'm just like, well, fuck that, motherfucker. I'm not going to try to add anything. So I kind of stood there for a couple minutes, and I was just like, all right, well, it hasn't gone off yet, so it might not be a pressure plate, but it could be. It could be a pressure plate where once I let off, it goes off, because they were talking about that. It could be a remote. The guy could just be waiting, for more people to come closer, and then boom. And then I was thinking, well, now he's seeing everyone else fucking move away. Well, guess it's over.
Yeah.
And I just stood there. I was frozen. Cause I don't know. I didn't want to die at that moment, and I heard the sergeant yell at me one more time, and it kind of snapped me out of it. And I took one of the IR chem lights that we have, and I put it on the bush as lightly as I could,
gently.
As gently as possible, and then said, "All right, I'm stepping," and took a deep breath and just started taking steps backwards. And I was able to get out of the situation. But from that night on, I started to have the dream of that day all over again. To the point where I would taste the sweat of how hot it was. I could smell the fucking rotted donkey down the road, because we also thought that might have been a place for an IED, so we didn't even fucking touch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were about to give me, what was it? A Navy Achievement Medal, a NAM.
Yeah.
And one morning, because it was 150 pounds of anal, which is ammonium nitrate and aluminum powder. And they said that 70 pounds of that shit would have taken out one of our vehicles. I was like, well, great. I was standing on 150 of it. Sweet. And they were going to give me a NAM for that. And one morning, one of the guys kind of kicked me awake to go take out the trash. And I was like, I've done this, every single day. Give me a day off. He said, fuck you. I got up. I started choking him. Then we got separated. Then another fight ensued between me and another guy who separated me. Yeah. And so I got brought into the leadership tent, and well, it was the detainee tent that we weren't using at the time. Yeah, that made me feel good.
Yeah.
But with the leadership, and they told me, they were like, look, you could either have a NAM or you can go back to being a PFC. I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to get, a NAM. And the Gunny Williams, he looked at me and was like, we should do both just in case. My heart dropped and I was like, fuck. I'm like, God damn it. I was so close. I knew I had points. All I needed was get through the deployment and I was going to get promoted, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he kind of let me sweat it out for like 30 seconds. It was the longest 30 seconds of my life. And he was like, nah, we'll just take the NAM. We'll give it to someone else. But he was like, but you'll know that was yours. And so the sergeant who was part of that team that went out got the NAM.
Okay.
Yeah. I got home. I still had the nightmares. I woke up one night screaming and choking the chick I was sleeping with that night.
What?
Yeah, so
Yesterday
that wasn't good times. Yeah, no, that was the last time I saw her. It was just one of those things. Every time I had the dream, it would either go off or the sergeant was next to me, or more than just me was at stake in the dream, and more went wrong than what actually did, and it kept fucking with me. And I remember on the 10 days home, I was driving on the freeway, and I was in the fast lane, and on the side where the little barrier was, there was just some trash. And it freaked me out where I swerved 3 lanes to the right and almost got into an accident. And I was like, well, fuck, I'm fucked now. Because I live at that time, the Coachella Valley, which is a fucking desert. It's an hour drive away from 29 Stumps, which is also a wonderful place to live.
Oh, yeah, it's lovely.
Those poor bastards. Yeah. And so you get 10 days of leave when you come home from a deployment, at least as a reservist. And then you're supposed to come back. They do sensitivity training and, this is how you're supposed to talk to your family and all this shit. I was like, oh yeah, I could have, needed that about 10 fucking days ago. Driving on the fucking freeway. And they kind of did the whole, is there anyone, they started taking people aside, is there anyone? And they kind of already knew that I was a little messed up. And I was like, yeah, I need to talk to someone. They got me to one of the doctors on Camp Pendleton, and he gave me meds. Well, these meds you're not allowed to go to the field with.
Yeah.
And if you're with a fucking grunt unit, pretty much, if you can't go to the field, what are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also took my weapons card away, which that hurt. Because that, doesn't matter what job in the Marine Corps, what are you at the end of the day?
Motherfucking rifleman.
Exactly. And what's a rifleman without his rifle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then from there, they were thinking about medically separating me because I had a year and a half on my contract from the time I got home. And I begged them. I said, just give me a year. Give me the year and a half. Let me see if I can get off these meds. Let me do, just give me what I have left. Please don't do it. And they were thinking about it, and they were like, well, if we put in for the medical board and you get denied, then there's a 6-month guarantee that you will have to be on base and all that stuff. And they were like, so they had me sign a little thing stating that I, refused. No, not refused, but didn't want to be medically separated, wanted time to, figure things out as they put it.
Yeah.
And didn't. It just got worse. The meds got different, and the more different meds I got on, the more and more that they kind of looked at me and was like, hey, it's not going to happen. We're not going to allow you to re-enlist.
Yeah.
And they told me it the day that they gave me corporal.
Oh, okay.
They promoted me, and Then after the promotion and all that formation, I got called up to the office. First sergeant said, you know, you deserved to be corporal, but we're not going to allow you to re-enlist. And I told him, could I give up corporal and just be a lance if you let me in? And yeah. From there, you know, trying to different jobs, security. You know, I had a fun time doing security because you work at night for the most part if you do security.
Yeah.
You don't have to see people all that much. Everything was great, you know. Who at the time was my girlfriend, you know, didn't like sleeping alone. Didn't like, you know, me working nights. So I'll find me a, you know, big boy 9-to-5 job. Went through vocational rehab through the VA to try to become a veterinary assistant. Went through all the schoolings with that, and started working in the vet field in 2013. And it wasn't until my divorce actually that at the beginning of this year that I wasn't able to have my escape from work anymore. You know, my ex-wife was my escape. My ex-wife was the reason to work all the hours, the reason to put up with all the bullshit, the reason to smile at someone who, you know, didn't deserve to be smiled at, you know, and didn't deserve my kindness, didn't deserve any of this shit, you know. And so when she left, it was like, what the fuck? And I started treating people the way they treated me, and you know how that shit goes.
Yeah.
So,
especially if they dick.
Yeah. You know, and I got home in 2010, and have been on meds ever since. I take day or morning pills, and then I take night pills to go to sleep. While taking pills, I noticed some side effects of, you know, irritable bowel syndrome, things like that, tremors, you know. So throughout the years, the meds have changed because of the symptoms that I would get. Yeah. But the fact would still remain. I'm still quick on that trigger if someone pisses me off. Not the nicest person to be around all the time kind of thing. Suspicious of everyone. Can't go into a restaurant without seeing how many people are there, how many exits, and the probability if shit goes down, me get the fuck out with all these fat people.
Well, shit, man. That's you know, everyday life there, man. That ain't nothing out of the norm.
Well, yeah. but, you know, when you do it out of McDonald's.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, you know, man, I done been to some suspect McDonald's, so I don't blame you for none of that.
You know, and it wasn't until about 2014. I had a coworker that smoked weed. And I was talking to him one day about, you know, because he asked me, he was like, hey, so, you know, so you're no longer in, you know, what happened over there? We talked. He's like, dude, you need to smoke weed. He's like, go get a rec, go ask for indica. He's like, it'll help your sleep. It'll put you to sleep and you'll be able to, you know, he's like, yeah, the dreams might still be there, but you'll actually be able to go to sleep. I take 3 different meds throughout the day. 3 of them are for sleep. 3 of them are to relax my body. One is Prazoshin, which is a heart pressure medication, which lowers my heart rate. And then I take mirtazapine, which is a sedative to get me to sleep kind of thing. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I will sit there for 4 to 5 hours after I take my pills and be wide awake. Okay. And so I would supplement it with marijuana, and have been doing that since 2015, actually. I did notice that, like, trying to do day smoking sometimes doesn't work because, like with sativa, it gives you that energy. But when you have that energy and when you have that hypeness, you kind of, you know, overlook shit, or not overlook shit, but you start to, you know, get back in that mentality of having to always watch around and, you know, everything like that.
A little edgy.
Yeah, still a little edgy, even though you're smoking weed. So I would stick to night meds. It wasn't until California passed the law that it would be legal, or that it's going to be legalized, that I started to want to grow my own. Because, before then, before 2015, never smoked weed. Barely drank until I was, once I turned 21, then I started drinking. I would drink like once or twice. You're 19 in the Marine Corps, you're going to drink.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's going to hand you something.
Yeah. Shit, that person was my mom, man. I came back from boot camp. She's like, you old enough to die for your country. You old enough to have a drink.
Yep. And so, but before then I was straight laced. I didn't smoke weed when I was younger because it was against the rules. It was illegal, all that shit. And, so I've been growing. I had an outdoor grow that I just finished right now. It was okay. My plans are to use. So it's helped me. I'm sorry. So weed's helped me a lot, and especially with my PTSD and honestly day-to-day life. Since I've gotten home in 2010, it seems that we've lost at least one person from our unit each year since then. And two of them were kind of instrumental in me getting help. Staff Sergeant Horton and Sergeant Jernigan. Staff Sergeant Horton died in 2015, and Staff Sergeant Jernigan died in 2016 and was actually buried on my birthday, January 16th of this year, which kind of sucked also. Man. And it was all around the time that I was getting a divorce, and I would lie to say I don't think about it, or that I hadn't thought about it, and especially during that time of, well, fuck it, if these guys, if these guys couldn't handle, what fucking choice, what fucking chance do I have?
Yeah. Now, was that like combat related, or that was their own means?
No, yeah. And with time, it kind of got me out of that, but they're, not going to lie and say, oh, I've never thought of it, or I've never had the thought of, I wish the bomb went off, because there have been days where it would be so much easier, if it would have just went off. I wouldn't have to deal with any of this shit. Wouldn't have to deal with the people that I've had to deal with since I've gotten home, or anything, or live the life that I've lived since I've gotten home. Yeah. Going through a divorce with a person that I honestly wanted kids with and wanted to have a long ass family with, and was willing to do any and everything to make that happen, and so when that day happened where I was standing there and really, really thinking about it, I decided that I was going to do something to help others, because others have helped me. Yeah. And others have made it to where I'm no longer a Marine, but I'm on meds. I'm able to sleep at least 5 hours a night, and I don't want to lose another one. Yeah. And it was real tough, and it's been real tough. Like I said, we came home with no casualties from the war, but since then we've lost people, and it's devastating. You've probably talked about it before. There's a statistic. It's 22 a day. 22 a day, yeah. And that's outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. So my plan has been, since I've been growing weed, is half of the crop, half of my harvest will be made into edibles, and I'll be going around to like VFWs, different places like that, to hand out edibles to veterans in need, veterans who are suffering, that are on medications but need something else to help them through, that maybe don't know too much about marijuana, or still is a little taboo to them, things like that. I know that there's a couple of friends from my unit that have already, since I've started it, and have started showing it on Instagram and stuff like that, are interested in it and would like to try them, kind of thing. So but yeah, so I did my first harvest. It came out to 333 grams. So I have a buddy that I'm going to do a video with, how to turn that into like a THC hash and then turn that into to concentrate or a rosin. Rosin's a new kind of craze kind of thing. It's it's liquidy. It's all the THC without the actual plant matter kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It's easiest to make little jellies with rosin. So that's my plan is I'm going to, get all that done, make it into rosin, and then start making the edibles. Not going to do it for money. I don't want anyone to pay me for it. This is thing to help me, and I have a blessed life now. Even though all the shit I'm going through, it's a situation where I'm at now with the life that I'm having right now. I can't complain. And if I could help out another veteran, who's not as blessed as I am right now, then I want to, And I'm actually getting CBD or hemp seeds. I'm actually going to start growing hemp also. With that, there's two major substances in weed: THC, which is what gets you high, and CBD, which is what is the healing factor. It's a like a pain reliever. It also helps with PTSD. It is it's a way to not get high, but also to relax your body. When you're stressed out, your body's stressed out.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Before I joined,
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tell you now. Before I joined the Marine Corps, I smoked hella weed. And, just you going back through the weed talk is just like my mouth is watering right now. You talking about a steak to me right now. Yeah, I mean, because I can't have none. That's all. It's just like the job I got and all that other shit. So.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is a lot of people have jobs, and a lot of people have jobs. A lot of veterans have jobs that still, drug test. And so with that, it's nice being able to, hand out THC gummies and stuff like that, because that will help. That'll help with sleep, everything like that. But if there's veterans who can't because, of their job, we can do the CBD route. I can make edibles with CBD, which are non-psychoactive, and also do not show up on a test, because all they're testing for is the THC metabolites. You might have to talk offline. I haven't grown it yet. I'm still waiting on the seeds, but I'm definitely going to be getting that. I have an indoor grow going right now, where I am actually taking a video every day for about 5 to 10 minutes on YouTube to show you the process of my indoor grow. To hopefully, I was able to get the whole system for under $1,000 is what it would have cost me. Altogether of everything that I show on my YouTube channel, which is Turk The Marine Guy's Grow. Sorry for the plug. But
you're going to do that anyway.
But pretty much what I did is I have it's a 3x3 tent. Indoor little grow. It's a superponic hydroponic 8 system, which is a deep water culture, a top feed, and an aeroponics. And I have a 275 LED watt light bulb, which produces only 275 watts but can replace a 400 watt light bulb. So cuts down on cost kind of thing. So what I do is pretty much I take a video every day of the process. I show everything. I'm going to show everything. If I fuck up, then I fuck up. If the plants die, shit, the plants fucking die.
So they say know what not to do.
Yeah, exactly. When you grow weed, you're going to kill plants because you're going to give either too much attention or too little attention. And things are going to happen, and it's what happens when you grow weed.
And you playing some Sade and stroking your plant leaves in there, talking to them and shit, dog.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you and playing some Sade and stroking your plant leaves, talking to them softly and shit.
Not at this moment. They're still little seedlings. There is a lot of growth. We're on day 20 right now, actually. And with the nutrients, I got nutrients for free from one of the hydro stores near me. They had free samples of them. And I called the people up, asked them when I could start. And they said right away. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I've seen a huge growth since I started using the nutrients. And the reason why I wanted to do it is I would always put in, before I started my grow, how to grow weed in YouTube. And yeah, there was a ton of videos, but it was more of, look at my grow. Look at it. This is my weed on this day.
Would you look at it? Would you just look at it?
Yeah, just look at it. They wouldn't tell you about what nutrients they're using, how many times they water, how much they water, why they would water, why they would trim, things like that. And I found it very hard at first to even start up growing my own weed because there's a lot out there, yeah, but there was never like an in-depth of, look, this is what you have to do. Do this step, this step, this step to start. Then you do this, all this kind of stuff. Or, they wouldn't show you what they were using because, everyone, this is my personal grow and, that's going to cost me money if someone else knows my thing. Yeah. And to me, I'm not trying to make money off this, man, And even if the person right next door to me has the same exact grow, used the same exact seeds, and did everything I did, it's not going to affect me, and it's not going to affect my meds that I grow for myself, kind of thing, And honestly, all it does is cause more competition because the better that I start growing and the more that I learn, because I'm going to be learning with you guys because I've never done indoor grow. I have a couple of friends that do it, and I'll call them up every once in a while and be like, hey, what the fuck? And they'll kind of guide me along. They helped me with my outdoor grow. They guided me along. And I want to be able to give that back to, veterans that either can't afford to buy the amount of weed that is needed per month for their, personal use and their own medications, that they can, grow it and at a cost, at a smaller cost than what you would think it is. Outdoor grows, all you pay for is water pretty much with an outdoor grow. Once you buy the soil, once you buy the pots, once you buy the seeds, everything else the cost is water because you have no lights. You don't have to worry about lights. You got the sun, You don't have to worry about trimming too much because with outdoor, you want as much as you can with outdoor. Yeah. So you don't have to spend even too much time with that either. You don't have to trim them down throughout like you would with an indoor grow. You could let them get as big as possible outdoors depending on the pot size, depending on your grow area, Mm-hmm. If you have the means to be able to plant it in the ground, that's the best. Okay. But, that means you can't move it. That also means that if you have a gardener like I do, you can't bring them inside because you don't want the gardener fucking with them. You can't bring them inside if it rains, which also will fuck with your plants because overwatering and underwatering look exactly the same. That's what sucks. If you water your weed too much, it will look as if you're not watering it at all. And so you start to think, oh shit, am I not giving it enough water? And then you give it more water and then it dies.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Or if you plant it in the ground and you don't have the right soil, like the soil I have at my house, I did a little test. I showed it on the videos. My soil is shit. So I'm never going to plant, because I planted 4 and they died within 2 days. They're just done. Horrible. Done. I had them in little cups that were in the nice fertilizer that I had my other outdoor plants in. I did a little video of transplanting them into my soil, and within 2 days they're dead. Done. So, yeah, never gonna actually plant down at my house. But I did find this big ass like a wooden one for like palm trees, Mm-hmm. I'm going to use that one next year. I'm going to have one plant next year, and that's going to be it. That's the plan. Get about 100, I think it's 100 gallons worth, I think, would fill it up. So I'll hit up my buddy, see if he has about 100 gallons of the soil. And that's what I'm going to do for next year's outdoor grow. But in between then, I have the indoor grow. I have enough nutrients right now to where for free to do like 5 grows. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that.
Make that bitch like into a Christmas tree.
Oh yeah. I've seen online other people's outdoor setups with that kind of soil pot, and they're huge. So I'd be very happy with that one.
See, man, we've been going at this for an hour, and these are the interviews that I really enjoy, man. I mean, I didn't have to ask you any questions. You answered. You talked about everything that I was going to ask you about. What got you in the Marine Corps and so on and so forth. I mean, you even gave me a little extra. So, man, I really enjoyed this interview, especially when you started talking about weed, because I was just like, I was over there.
Well, I definitely
scratching
mind
shit.
Coming back. Oh yeah, the first one I just I had to give a little background of why it means so much to me, why I'm doing this, why I'm taking the time, why I spent the money, why I'm doing everything I can to try to do this, because I'm going through it myself, and I've had those nights where I've sat in a dark room and kind of just talked to no one, kind of thing. Or I've had the times where there's no fan blowing or there's no noise, and so I start talking to myself in my head, not hearing voices, but hearing your own voice, kind of thing. And then after a while you kind of get used to that, and then people like talking to other people.
Yeah.
I still go through stuff like that. I still have days where I'll cry out of nowhere. I'll still have days where the smallest little thing can offend me and send me off into a rage where I'm grabbing my fucking knife and threatening my gardener to get the fuck off my land because I didn't know it was him, kind of thing.
Man.
Still deal with that type of shit, even though I've been on meds, I've done therapies, the weed has definitely helped. 100%. I can honestly say that the meds have helped, but I have noticed if I'm not on my meds, it just takes about 3 days to go right back to being absolute shit.
Now, what you was talking about with the weed and combination in combination with the marijuana and everything, have you ever thought about tapering off the medication and upping the dosage in marijuana?
So with that, I tried actually, and I did not like the results because I think of your body adapts and your body gets used to it. Mm-hmm. And if you stay on a certain med long enough, your body starts to crave it. No matter what, everything becomes quote unquote addictive, just like how food becomes addictive, just like how water's addictive, because it gets to a point where your body recognizes that chemical, recognizes that pill, and recognizes, hey, this is what I've been having every single day for the past 5 years. Where is it? And I'm at a point where I don't know if I can, because like I said, I went off of them for about 2 weeks, and it wasn't good. When I did smoke weed, it would help, but there were still times where, because I was smoking weed during the day now, it wasn't as effective as it was at night. When I go to a dispensary, I ask them it's called couch lock.
Self-explanatory. I got you.
Yeah. The way you get a couch lock effect with weed is you let it, right before it's about to harvest, you let it go for a couple more days. So, and the way that it goes is little trichomes, the little crystals. Okay, when they start forming on the bud, you can actually look at them under a microscope, and they'll be clear. When they're clear, they're just starting to form. Okay. Then, as time goes on, as the harvest starts, or as flowering time gets to the end, they'll start to get milky. Okay. And usually people will harvest around that time, because that's when the weed, the trichomes, everything like that is at its most potent for feeling high. Okay. So you'll get the cerebral effect best if you have the milky trichomes. But if you wait until the trichomes turn an amber color or a darker color, you get the couch lock effect. You get more of the sedative effect instead of like the cerebral high. You get actually more CBD content also. Each plant, each strain has a trace of CBD depending on when you harvest it, okay? No matter what strain, no matter if it's sativa, no matter if it's indica, okay? If you wait long enough, you will get traces of CBD in it with, and that's part of that couch lock effect. The couch lock effect is the relaxing of the muscles, your head feels like a bowling ball. It's real heavy. Your eyes are real heavy. It's not I'm going to laugh and giggle. It's I'm going to literally sit down on the couch and probably fall asleep. Or like with what I do, I smoke right before I go to sleep, and then I lay down and I relax and I let it kind of wave over me and I fall asleep. Some people say it's a waste of weed to smoke before you go to sleep because you're sleeping. But if you're using it to go to sleep, it's definitely not a waste.
Exactly.
I let my plants get to where half of it was amber and half of it was milky. So to still kind of get the head high, but definitely going to get some of that sedative effect kind of thing. Because again, I use it personally for nighttime meds to help me throughout the night. Sometimes I will smoke during the day if I know I'm going to go to a place that's going to be fucking packed with people, like Walmart. Dog, I have no fucking clue how you do it. I don't fucking know how you do it. I would lose my mind if I spent that much time at Walmart.
Hey man, I don't know. I guess I'm a rare breed. I don't know.
like I admire the way that you're able to just be around that, be around the people, and the people.
Well, see, I think that's the thing, man. I mean,
and the people.
I think that's the thing, man.
The people.
It's just like in the Marine Corps. That was the thing for me. It was the people.
Yeah.
I just like to be around the people, man. And so, I mean, I guess it's still kind of that way or whatever. And then, it's Walmart. So not only am I getting good deals and low prices, I'm seeing these sideshow acts and everything.
Oh yeah, no, I hate it too when the last movie of a series comes out and then they come out with a fucking $25 box set.
Yes, son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch.
All right, check it out. Because I did a video on that today. I see you've been looking at my Instagram. I bought the first Transformers movie when it came out, so that was like almost $20. Then I bought the second one, that was almost $20. So they got 5 movies now. So over the time that I bought them all individually, I've spent over $100. So now they come out with a fucking box set for $40. I was like, you son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. Oh yeah. All right, so I don't know. Okay, so something bothered me today.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard about it with the whole Steelers player thing.
Oh, the one guy?
That whole bullshit this weekend.
Yeah.
My thing was, I'm all for it. He's a veteran, know. He served. That's what you're supposed to do. I did a little post on Instagram of United States code for when the national anthem happens, and it specifically states people in the military in uniform and or veterans must, stand for the anthem and do all of that. Mm-hmm. I didn't like that the coach made him feel impelled to say he was sorry. The same right that the team had to sit out the national anthem is the same right that he had to stand for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I joined the Marine Corps. I did it to preserve the rights of Americans under United States flag. Mm-hmm. Also, under that United States flag, people are allowed to burn it. People are allowed to protest. People have the right to free speech. People have the right to assemble and do all this stuff. Absolutely. But you need to understand also, with the right to do bad also comes the right to do good. Mm-hmm. And you cannot ostracize one guy for doing what he felt and what he's been told to do when the national anthem happens because you want to protest something else. Mm-hmm. Okay? Whether it's for the flag, I don't care. I don't care that they kneel. I didn't care when Kaepernick did it.
No, I didn't.
Because it had to do with the police. And guess what? I fought for the right for that dumb fuck to be able to do it.
Yeah.
That's that's why I laugh. It's like, yeah, I don't. If someone burns the flag, yeah, it's going to anger me, but that's their fucking right. If they're an American citizen, that's their right. Now, if they're in Saudi Arabia, if they're in Afghanistan, I'm gonna have words.
Yeah, I mean, you outside of this country fucking up this country's flag, you know.
But as an American citizen, you have the right.
Yeah. And then, man, it just goes into a whole bunch of things. It's like, people are upset because you're not upset. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, they are all right now. Everybody that's doing what they're doing right now, every last one of them are completely right. If they're taking the knee because of injustice in America or whatever, boom, that's great. You're right. If you, like the guy, the veteran, I mean, he's paying honor to his, his brothers and sisters in arms or whatever. That's his right.
Yeah, he was a ranger. He was an officer.
He is right. If you taking a knee or sitting out for Kaepernick or, injustice in the NFL for whatever the fucking reason, you are right. So why are you even mad for, everybody's doing right?
Exactly. I don't know. It just kind of made me mad that I saw the video of him. It was like, I made my coach look bad. I made my team look bad. And I was like, what? No, no. You did what you were told to do.
Yeah, and that's another thing. My
feeling is forced patriotism or fake patriotism is worse than no patriotism.
Yeah.
You don't have to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. That's absolutely fine. Jehovah's Witnesses do it every single time. That's absolutely fine. That is part of what's great about this country is you're allowed to do shit like that. You're allowed to say no when everyone else says yes. Because we live in America. We don't live in fucking Afghanistan where a woman is not pretty. She's like a piece of clothing to these guys sometimes.
And
it's
I know it's frustrating, dude.
It's one of those things of it's a lot of people complaining about things that they've either never fought for or have no idea why they should be even mad about it. Mm-hmm. I saw no reason of why that veteran should have gotten talked to or anything. I don't even understand how anyone could even think of telling a veteran, hey, don't stand up for the American flag and for the national anthem. Unless that veteran absolutely hated everything about it, and shit like that. But outside of that, like, I wouldn't be offended, but I'd look at someone like, what the fuck are you thinking? No, I'm going to stand. I'm going to put my hand over my heart. All that shit. I fought for this shit. You don't have to. You don't have to. I don't know. That, like I said, that just kind of made me mad with the veteran thing. And I don't want to take it to a race thing, but there's a part of me that feels if he was black and did that, he wouldn't have had to apologize. Mm.
I would believe they would have given him more shit if he was black.
It makes no sense. It still doesn't make any sense to me. Because
it does make sense.
There's a lot of people that yell a lot. There's a lot of people that fucking, I hate this country. This country is blah, 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 all this shit. And it's like, dude, because you live in this country, it's the only reason why you're allowed to talk that way.
Yeah.
Saddam, what did he used to do?
Cap a motherfucker, cut their hand off, cut their head off.
Exactly.
Hang them from a goddamn street sign.
There's not pictures on every goddamn building of Trump. There's not statues all over the fucking United States of Trump. or any other president that we've had, except for a couple, but
Yeah,
not
like
just
little
one
monuments or
president
something,
all
yeah.
the way through like it used to be with him.
Yeah.
Shit, there are still buildings with memorials of him in Iraq.
Yeah.
My buddy was just there. He was like, "Oh yeah, there's still." He's like, "There's a couple buildings with his face on it still."
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
You know what the world
I'm
needs?
sorry.
The world needs weed.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That's why I'm happy California passed that, because it's definitely going to help a lot. There are a lot of weed advocates or advocates for weed for veterans. There are a ton of associations like Weed for Warriors, a ton of like a buddy of mine, Old Glory Genetics. He grows, and he also grows seeds. I'm actually getting seeds from him too. He also does a thing for veterans. There's a lot of advocacy because servicemen like myself are coming back, and we're starting to see like we can't do it alone, and it's either that or we drink.
Yeah.
And drinking will kill you harder than weed will, because the drinking is going to affect the meds,
The liver and all
or
that
react
shit,
with the
yeah.
meds. You know, because like me, I don't drink because I can't. If I drink a beer, I can't take my night pills because I could die. You know, so I don't drink. That sucks. I was a Marine. You know what that means?
Yeah.
I drank
Like a fish. Like a fucking fish.
like a fish.
See, and,
You
that's
know,
the thing, because
so-
like right now I'm doing like a 30-day, well, not 30 days. It's like, it's a 12-week stint of this medication or whatever. And I can't drink due to 12 weeks.
Oh,
And like, I mean, I'm not,
antibiotics.
yeah, like I'm not sad.
Ugh.
I'm not sad about it or whatever, but it's just like every now and then I forget and I go in the refrigerator, I'm like, oh shit, I can't have that.
Oh yeah. You know, and that's one of the things with marijuana. There's been nothing to where, oh, it's a, you know, if you take it with this medication, you know, you'll die or it'll have adverse side effects or anything like that. No matter the different meds that I've taken since I've started smoking weed, I've never had a adverse or bad effect of doing both.
Mm-hmm.
But I have thrown up because I drank a beer and took my pills.
Yeah.
You know, I've done that. I've had the most horrible diarrhea from the pills that I take sometimes. Absolute horror. Like just water. just water. That's it. No, nothing. I'm not constipated, nothing. Just water.
Man, that's that damn Iraqi soup.
Oh, fuck yeah. You know, but that's, you know, it's another reason why I want to help out other veterans is some of them are drinking while taking medications, you know, because the medications, yeah, they help, but your body gets used to it. Your body starts to adapt. Your body starts to become tolerant.
Yeah.
You know, when I started taking mirtazapine, my night med, I started at 10 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm up to 45 now.
What shit?
Yes, sir. Oh, and there's still some room to still go up. She said, for safety reasons, the highest I can go is 75 milligrams. So I still got some, you know,
God damn. Well, shit,
you know,
man.
but
'Cause, like,
I can't be honest with the VA and say, you know, I smoke weed because it's still taboo. Yeah, they blood test me. Yeah, they're not as stringent anymore, and they're not going to take away benefits and stuff as long as you live in a state that has medical marijuana.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, sometimes they use those blood tests to take away benefits. Because if you're doing meth or amphetamines of any kind, opioids or any shit like that, you know, that's 100% illegal and bad and, you know, shit like that. So things like that can get your benefits taken away. Yeah. You know?
And man, I can remember getting out and, you know, I was having the trouble sleeping and shit too, man. And damn, they gave me this shit. I forget what the name of it was, man, but it would put me down And I would just have all kind of crazy dreams and shit. I'm dreaming about dragons and fucking all kind of crazy shit, man. And then when I would wake up the next morning, I'd just be like a slug, man. It's just like my head is heavy. And I was like, man, take me off of this shit.
Oh yeah, they had me on Seroquel and Ambien when I first got home. Seroquel, Ambien, and Zoloft, and it didn't do shit. Like I would work out at night because I would get so bored.
Yeah, and that was the thing.
3 in the fucking morning. 3 in the fucking morning on a Thursday.
Yeah, that was what I was doing too, man. I was there up until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning playing video games and shit. And it got to a point to where my wife was like, if you up past this certain time, don't even come get in the bed because I got to get up and go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, man. But it's almost dinner time.
Oh, yeah, man.
I appreciate this, man. I'll definitely come back on again, talk more about the grow and everything like that. I know, like I said, we barely scratched it. And again, I want to tell more of the backstory of why this means so much to me and why I'm putting so much time and effort into this.
Hey, man, it's a great cause. And I appreciate the effort that you're putting into it, dude.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it too. And I know we didn't serve at the same time. We weren't in the same units, but thank you for your service because honestly, you made it possible for me. You paved the way for me. And I say that to all veterans that are older than me because without you joining, it gave, it wouldn't have given me a chance to join.
Man, I appreciate you for taking up my footsteps and everything and all that stuff.
Well, they're big footstep staffs, aren't?
Yeah, we're in here circle jerking each other and shit.
Yeah, I know, right? All right.
Well, all right, man. Hey, you've been against our show. And, oh shit, they fighting. They're fighting. I think I heard an RKO or something.
Yeah, I was outside.
Yeah, but man, you've been against the show, man. It was a pleasure talking to you or hearing you speak. And
it's always a pleasure, man. Yeah, Thank you.
You're welcome to come back anytime, dude.
All right, I'll definitely let you know the more we get into the grow. Again, look me up on YouTube. It's all one word, Turk the Marine Guys Grow.
Anywhere else?
Turk the Marine Guys. And I'm also on Instagram under Turk the Marine Guy.
Shazam.
And that was a nickname I actually got from RBR. From Paul. Yeah. Paul called me that one day, and it just kind of stuck.
I remember.
Yep.
Because, I remember when it came up, and I was like, hey, that guy's a Marine? I need to get in touch with him.
All right, Rob.
All right, take it easy, man.
The girl's looking a little at me. But yeah, man, anytime. Thank you. I appreciate it. And if this helps any veterans, if my channel helps any veterans, that'll make me happy, even if just one. So thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, man.
All right, dude. Take it easy.
All right. You have a good night.
And that's it. Got another episode in the books. Episode 92. We are fastly approaching episode 100. Still don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, to celebrate or anything, or even if I'm gonna celebrate, it's probably just gonna be business as usual. I mean, it's a milestone. I did a little something for episode 50. I did a little something for the year anniversary, and yeah, might do something for 100. But other than that, I hope you took away something from this podcast. People have problems, and it's good to air those things out. It's good to say them out loud. I mean, I believe the more that you talk about it with other people or just even say it out loud or anything like that, I mean, you take your power back. You don't let this thing take control of you, So, man, just even listening back to the audio when I tried to edit this stuff, I mean, it still stung a little, just the fact that, he was going through this stuff and, when he was talking about he had, other service members that he worked with that, kind of took their lives, so to speak, in their own hands and decided to exit this world, you know. And it's weird about those situations to where I've known, you know, Marines and other service members that committed suicide. And, you know, when people talk about it, they're like, I would have never thought he was the one to do something like that. And and it's unfortunate that I've known people to be advocates for other people, to talk them down off the ledge of suicide. And they were the ones themselves that, you know, committed suicide, you know. I've had many Marines say that if it wasn't for such and such, you know, I probably would have killed myself. And then to have that person that talked them down kill themselves, you know, that oh man, it's fucked up, man. I'm sorry. Oh man, it's fucking bad, man. There's no words that I could use, or, you know, how I can explain, you know, how shitty of a deal it is, man. Cause I mean, you take yourself out. I mean, you just leave us here, you know, to pick up the pieces, you know, your mother, your father, or whoever raised you, or whoever's close to you. You know, we had to sit here and, just roll around in the fact that you're not here, you know. So if you're out there, if you're hearing this, if you think no one cares, we really care. If you need help, you know, just ask for it. Don't be afraid. Nobody will judge you, because I would guarantee they would rather you ask for that help and than not say nothing at all and just suffer inside and do something bad. Anyway, let's get on out of here before I start tearing up and crying like a little bitch and shit. You can find me on Twitter at It's B-Rob. That's ITSBROB. If you want to talk professional wrestling and other general shenanigans, that's where you can do it at. You know, I appreciate all the retweets and likes and everything. And also, you can find the show on Twitter as well at 3R Show. That's 3, the letter R, SHOW. You can go to randomrobcast.com and you can look up ways to help the show advance and grow. You can use my Amazon links. You click on the Amazon banner. It'll take you to Amazon. And then you just shop like you normally do, man. You get some screen protectors like I did recently, because I got the iPhone 8 Plus. I'm not bragging. I'm just upgrading my device from a 6S Plus. And whatever you purchase from Amazon, using those links, I get a little kickback on the end. Got merchandise as well. I'm working on some new designs. If you got any feedback on that, hit me up on Twitter. You can also call the show. I don't never plug my phone number, but I always put it in the show descriptions. It's 304-825-5762. Man, that fucking suicide and shit, PTSD talk, bro. I'm sitting here, I'm going through my spill right now. I got my eyes closed and I'm just like trying to hold the tears in my face. Fucking bullshit. You can follow me on Instagram. You can watch me walk through the halls of Walmart and talk things and stuff. My kid was in there today, dressed in a peculiar outfit. If you want to check that out, she had her hair scarf on with a basketball cap on top, Mitch Mac socks and some slides. I think her pants are getting a little bit of high water, so you get to see a little ankle. And man, that's it. That's all I got. The Random Realms with Rob is in association with Hush Your Face Entertainment, a group of podcasts that come together to, you know, plug our shit, not our orifices or each other's orifices, but the good word of podcasting. And as always, I'll see you next time.
Your Face is coming straight to your ears. A podcast network that's changing gears, bringing fresh funky pods with a fresh funky beat. A family of pods that are bringing the heat. There ain't no stopping us. Keep coming back to us, sick ass pods that'll make you hush. www Hush Your Face. www Hush Your Face. www hushyourface.com.